Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your humble narrator. My name is Danny, and this is The Common Rule. Well, how you been? It's been a minute. I've been doing some things here, working on getting better, healing. My foot is slowly but surely healing, not as fast as I want it to be. I am very anxious and hoping to get back out there and start making some magic, but man, I tell you what, it's just, oof. It's all I could do to find something to keep me sane and keep me occupied and keep me going. What I decided to do here is, since I'm in a transitional period here, I rearranged the quote-unquote podcast room. I think if you guys follow along the Instagram there at The Common Rule, you've seen pictures I posted up, rearranging the room. The man cave thing that I had going on, it suited me very well, and I loved it. But now I had the opportunity to more or less switch to another room and have it be more inviting, more comfortable. And overall, I wish that it was going to be something more permanent, but this is just going to be something temporary. But you know what? I'm going to take advantage of it as often as I can from here on out until the permanent change happens. And so what I decided to do is something I should have done a while ago. I went ahead and started reaching out to everybody that I wanted to do a podcast with. I've gotten a great response. I have a few lined up already. And it's something that I don't know why I didn't do it before. I think, with change comes motivation, I guess. I said, why not? Let's do it. Let me see what I can do and see how many people I can get on here in the shortest amount of time, since I basically have a lot of free time at the moment. And I also essentially am working on live streaming this stuff. I have a little, very humble 3-camera setup. Might move it up to 4 if I can figure out how to make the old school mini DV camera, turn that into an HDMI signal and route it into the whole signal chain here. And it was very interesting. Again, I'm trying to figure out how to basically go live streaming on a multicam setup. And what's funny is in the YouTube, there really isn't that much information from somebody that isn't running some sort of high professional and studio thing. Well, not even high end. The cheapest piece of equipment that I came across is like $1,000. And I'm like, man, I know I don't need that. So lo and behold, I kept searching high and low. And I found someone that had something set up. Man, I figured it out, and I am on the cheap end of having a multicam setup. I do have a couple of things to figure out. I did this one live with Ryan, but it was a couple of technical difficulties, and the audio isn't what I wanted it to be, so I actually ended up taking it down. Sorry, Ryan. But I had a second podcast today also with Aaron, and I'll put that up in a minute. And I basically figured out the first problem that I had, but I didn't figure out the second problem that I had. So out of both of those, you end up making one, but, that's how it goes. Anyway, today's conversation was with Ryan Casillas. He's a photographer I met through the Phoenix Film Revival lab and print shop over here in Phoenix, of course. And, man, we really get into a really good conversation, not just photography, although I do apologize. We do end up dorking out a little bit on the technical side of photography, but we do end up talking a lot about race car driving and Ryan's creative process as he moves through going out in the middle of the night to take pictures and driving a race car. I appreciate you tuning in, and please enjoy the conversation with Ryan. All right, man. So I know I asked you this before we turned on the mic. So how you been? I haven't seen you in a while.
I haven't seen myself in a while either. No, I'm doing good. A couple months ago, I got fired from my day job, and instead of getting bummed out about it or like, oh shit, I gotta worrying about it, I use that as an opportunity to kind of focus on what I want to do in life, and like kind of instead of doing what I think or doing what I want to do and following my passion. So just since then, I've just been kind of focusing on my photography, both film and digital, and just kind of going from there and just kind of not really having a grand plan, but definitely just keeping motivated and just doing just going with the flow, I guess. And then just keep my head up and just seeing what happens. And so far it's working out. So
you were sucks about your job, but I think it might be I don't think it doesn't seem like you're too heartbroken about it, right?
No, it was a blessing in disguise, honestly. I mean, I felt like I was kind of trapped there. It's a 9 to 5, and the paycheck's good, a steady paycheck, it's good to have that and everything, and health benefits stuff. But
in this day and age, right?
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know, I'm just not that. I can't sit at a desk all day. Like, I gotta, and place orders and do customer service. I gotta do something, I don't know. And I don't know. I may be broken in a couple weeks. We don't know, but
yeah.
But no, so far it's where, it's good. And, it's like this giant weight's been lifted off my shoulder recently too. And just, I don't know. It's just like, I have a new, not that I was depressed or anything, but I have a zest for life now.
Good. Yeah, I think you'd be amazed with what you can do in your free time while you're, let's just say, in between jobs, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's, speaking from personal experience at the moment, I am, this is my issue, sorry. I am somewhat going through that a little bit. I'm just, with the foot injury and stuff, I haven't been to work in a while, but it's like, I can't do certain things, but at the same time, I think you'll be able to go, okay, I'm getting to a project that I didn't get to do in a little while, or, do some things.
Yeah.
Now, I met you through Phoenix Film Revival.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a film community for developing. It's a photo lab here in Phoenix. That's pretty cool. Now, you're saying that you were telling me right before that you're spending a lot more time in there.
Yes, I set up a cot in there. I actually live there now. No. No, yeah, that's another thing too is, previously with I used to, shoot my stuff and then I would just either drop it off at Tempe camera or whatever and get it back and scan it. But recently I've been getting more involved in actually going over there and learning how to develop and doing a lot of prints, and I'm working on a show in April.
Oh, nice.
Plan, so
okay, all right. Now, out of curiosity, is developing film and printing, is that what you expected, what you didn't expect it? Are there any surprises as far as learning that side of things?
It's a lot more stressful because it's, if I mess up, then the whole, roll is shot. But,
oh, yeah.
It's easier to, if it comes out blank from Tempe camera, you just blame it on them. But,
right.
When you develop it yourself, it comes out blank.
No, it's your fault.
Exactly. It's
completely
all on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of weight on my shoulders. Anyways, but no, no, it's more satisfying because it really feels like now it's it's my own, it's my own creative thing. I'm a part of it from pretty much start to finish, I'm doing the photos, the shooting the photos part now is just one fraction of it now. It's a whole, it gives it more dimension,
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised at how different you might start approaching your, at the very least, your exposures.
Yeah.
As opposed to before, where now when you start developing your own film, you're going to start developing in a certain way the more and more you do it. And then you're going to do it so that you can print it a certain way. And the more and more you do it, you're going to figure out, God damn, I've been missing out on this for a long time, to where now you have this complete control over your artistic vision.
Exactly.
That you didn't have before. And it's fun process, but it could get frustrating too, where damn it, I missed it. Or, it's just okay, I'm in the dark room. Mm-hmm. For 6 hours, I'm just working on one fucking print,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What's the longest session have you spent in the darkroom yet?
I mean, usually I'm there for about 3 or 4 hours, I think, 5 hours.
Right.
But a couple days ago, I was working on one negative I was doing prints of, and yeah, it's it's a medium format. It's a 120 negative, but the paper, it's like 11 by 14. So,
okay.
It's just like a little bit of, adjusting it to where, it fits on the paper, but it's not, making sure what you're cutting off doesn't affect how you want the picture, and, getting the exposures right and going through test strip after test strip on the enlarger,
Yeah. And then that's just...
and then crying at Daniel, what am I doing wrong?
Yes. And then that's just version number 1. Then you go back and you go, you know what? I should have done it this way, or like this way.
Use this filter.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Let me do that. And then next thing you know, it's like, what am I doing? Yeah.
It's, again, it's frustrating and fun at the same time.
Yep.
Now, when I looked at your photography at first, you did a lot of night. It seemed like a lot of night photographs.
Yep.
And you like to go out at night and
just explore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last night, actually, I was in Miami, Arizona, which is an old mining town.
Okay. I've driven past.
Yep. I walked through it by myself in the rain. That was interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Cool. Yeah. And just, I don't know. It's some things at night, they take on a different, I think a different emotion, a different vibe, and a different look. And it's weird. Some things kind of come out more at night.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that during the daytime you wouldn't think about. And I don't know. I also like scaring the shit out of myself too. And being in a abandoned mining town while it's raining in the middle of the night by yourself, Yeah. You get the heebie-jeebies sometimes.
Yeah. It's a Scooby-Doo episode, I think, right?
Yeah, you hear things that go bump in the night,
Damn.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. I was shooting expired Ektachrome 100 too.
Okay, all right.
And so I'm really curious to see how that will turn out. That's why I was using that to shoot at night too, because I feel like when you're shooting expired film, if you shoot at night with a long exposure, it's more. I guess it gives you more kind of leeway. I guess.
Yeah.
Because with the expired film,
you need to pop it a little more usually to make it work.
Yeah. Whereas now you just, open a shutter for like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, one of the coolest shots I was doing was, there was was it US 60, I think, just west of Miami.
Okay.
And there's this building. It was this completely, it was covered in graffiti. It was on the side of the road. And this is on my way back. So it's like 1:30 in the morning. And it was kind of misty outside. So I set my camera up and did like a 3-minute exposure or something like that. And
nice.
In the rain, in the mist. And I'm really excited to see how that will turn out. If it turns out. Probably won't. Knowing my luck.
Is there something that you're looking for when you do that?
I don't know. It's all the Instagram likes. That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm
the ever elusive, at least for me, Instagram likes, right?
For the gram,
Right.
No. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I've always been. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. It's just I just see things that interest me, or the history of it interests me. I'm really kind of a little bit of a history buff too.
Okay.
Especially mining towns like that. I'm like a 4th generation Arizona native.
Oh, okay.
And
wow.
My dad was born in Bisbee.
Oh, okay.
So we and I still have a bunch of family down there. So growing up, we'd go there every once in a while, and I've always fell in love with that kind of aesthetic and that look and the history of it too. And yeah. And also my grandpa was born in Jerome.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I got, 2 towns in my family history that are really cool. And so visiting those 2 places growing up, I kind of fell in love with that that look and the history of everything too. So
okay, well, since I've been here, you are what I call a unicorn, where it seems like most people that I have encountered here in Phoenix for the last 7 years are from somewhere else, let alone from here, and not even 4th generation Arizonans. I think that's amazing.
Yep.
And grandpa's from Jerome, dad's from Bisbee.
and I'm from a state of confusion.
Okay, that's a great state to be in.
Yeah.
Right?
Constantly.
Was it an old Genesis song? Is that or Phil or
Boston? I don't know. What those bands?
The one with the puppets in it? No,
I'm confused now.
Yeah, no, never mind.
Anyways,
so
I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, you mentioned too that, and I didn't know this. You shoot digital too.
That's recent. Yeah.
That's more recent. Okay.
Yeah, that's just more for making a living. But like,
okay.
I still apply the same because I learned on film.
Okay.
As how I learned was I was at a thrift store in downtown Phoenix. It's not even there anymore, and I picked up a Signet 35.
Okay.
Kodak Signet 35 camera. So I went to Walgreens and got some. I think it was Kodak Gold 400 or something like that film, and popped it in and had no idea what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what ASA or ISO was or what aperture was or anything like that. But I just popped it in and started shooting, and somehow, I don't know how, but it came out. And just from there, it's just like instantly, I kind of fell in love with it. And one thing this camera had too is a bulb setting.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's where I fell in love with doing night photography and shooting at night.
For those that don't know, bulb setting is where you can leave the camera shutter open as long as you want.
Yep. And that camera doesn't have a battery. It's all spring operated. So,
nice.
You don't have to worry about killing a battery.
Yeah. And that's a big advantage of a mechanical camera over the DSLRs nowadays is where you can't really have hours sort of.
You have to worry about dead pixels or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or the camera dying in the middle of the exposure. So.
And how long ago was this?
It's 2014.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, pretty much, from there, I played around with that camera for a couple months, and then I picked up this camera right here, my 81 program.
Nice.
And that's when it really took off. That's when the love, because, you could see what you're shooting as opposed to the Signet had like a tiny little viewfinder, which is like a 1/4 inch wide. Couldn't really see anything out of it.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you could see what you're shooting, and it's just, the exposure's there. And that's, once I got that, that's when things really started to take off with my photography. And that's when I really started to get really creative with it. And, it's still my my go-to,
And you're shooting also medium format. You said too, correct?
I am long-term borrowing my friend's Bronica.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It's a Bronica SQ AI, I think, is the model, and that's another thing too is shooting medium format is that's really added another step to my creativity, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about, I don't know if it's just a square, format. I don't know. It's just, there's something about it. I can't really put it into words. Of course, I'm also have a terrible vocabulary too, so that also doesn't help. But I don't know. It's just the look of it, and
the more you shoot it, the more you figure out exactly what it is you love about medium format.
Yeah,
and then you'll start saying, I wonder what large format looks like.
Exactly, and then you're down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. It's then it's like cocaine.
Exactly.
You got to treat it, or you get addicted.
Chasing that film dragon.
Yes.
It's like, what if I did this, or what if I move the bellows this way,
Yes. How much control do you want? That's what large format is as far as...
Actually, it's probably the next step. And it's probably about 120 years old, but I have a 5x7 box camera at my house.
Okay. Wow.
I forgot the brand. It's made from England, or it's made in England. It was my uncle's. He had it, and then he gave it to my dad, and my dad had it in our house, just kind of sitting there, and he gave it to me, and now I just need to figure out how it works and what it does, and start playing with it, because it seems like the bellows doesn't look like there's any light leaks, which is good.
Okay.
And has a lens and everything. It's just I need to figure out how it all goes, and that's my next project is figuring that out.
Hell yeah. And that's just Oh yeah, I would love to see that camera. By the way, I think that'll be pretty epic to check out and play with a little bit too.
Oh yeah.
Now, before we start dorking out too much on cameras here, now you're an artist though. You draw and sketch.
Yep.
Do you paint also?
Eventually.
Okay.
I've been telling myself, I need to paint more, and I've done painting, and it's one of those things that I tell myself I'm going to do, and then I never get around to it. But I think now
you can get more serious about it.
Yeah, get more serious about it.
But
pick up my drawing more too. That's the one thing I'm kind of slacking on recently too, is my drawing and doing that again. So
did that originally fuel photography, or the photography fuels, or are they more like synergetic, or do you separate them? How does one work with the other for you?
Kind of separate, because drawing I've been doing all my life, essentially. Like even when I was a kid, I never doodled. I was always trying to draw the best drawing. Compositionally and everything. I don't know. It is. I think it's the creativity that comes from the drawing, I guess, is that part of brain that's fueled by that. I guess that drew me to photography as well. So I guess it's just kind of, they're both kind of feeling the same part of the brain, I guess. But I don't know. They're separate but equal. How about that?
Okay.
That sounds terrible. I know. But
yeah, but it's
that did not come out right. But yes, they're both
we hear you.
It's one of those things that was coming out of my mouth. I'm like, wait, I should not have said that. So.
Yeah. No worries. Nobody's gonna. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Now, you said you've been drawing those since you were a little kid.
Yep.
Yeah, and any like favorite subject matter or anything like that? I don't
know. I've always drawn. I don't know, just the things I like. Like when I was a kid, I was that weird kid that liked trains. I was that kid, so I was always drawing those and cars, and a lot of landscapes like desert, Southwest. I've always loved the desert. Been here my entire life, and I've never get bored of just the look and everything and the ruggedness of it. So, and the colors too. Even though I'm drawing charcoal and black and white, but just I don't know, just mainly those things. Been doing a lot more portraits too, and just drawing people, and just kind of expanding too.
And did you grow up in Phoenix or grew up in Bisbee? Or
I was born in Phoenix. I grew up in Tucson.
Okay.
And then I went to high school in Gilbert. Ugh.
Oh, so you've been all over the place in the valley, huh?
Just back and forth, but
okay.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think growing up in Tucson kind of shaped me a little bit too.
Okay.
I grew up in Phoenix too, 'cause the house I lived in was in Central Phoenix, like 15th Avenue and Indian School. So
okay.
So that's I've always loved this part of town. The Central Phoenix.
Yeah.
And, the mid-century architecture and everything. I've always loved that. Even when I was a kid. I think it's comforting to me.
No.
But yeah, growing up in Tucson too, and just the fact that when you're in the middle of the city in Tucson, you're still in the middle of the desert, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I think growing up there really drew my appreciation for the Arizona and the Southwest and living in a desert.
Yeah, I've only been to Tucson twice.
Yeah, and that's more than enough.
Yeah, one of the times I was completely fucking shit-faced. It was a great time.
It happens.
Yeah, it's a good college town, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, it's interesting, and it has an interesting vibe to it too. And I like the fact that they just kind of do their own thing down there. So, it's one of those places where I don't know if I could live there anymore.
Okay,
but it is interesting to go there and just kind of.
Do you have the experience? It's done. And we're good to go, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. It's kind of one of those places where I go back and sometimes it's like, man, this is cool. I want to, maybe I should move back. And then other times I come back and it's like, ugh. I don't know. It's like a weird love-hate relationship, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now, you race cars.
Yes.
How long have you been Paul Newman. How long have you been racing cars?
Oh, blue eyes. No, I've been doing it since. Well, I've loved racing since I was a kid, and then never had the money to do it, and I still don't have the money to do it, but now I do it anyways.
Yeah.
But no, I started racing 2015 or so.
Okay.
And just picked it up from there, and I remember my first race. I went out on track, and I raced go-karts, and but these aren't the go-karts that you play around with. These ones go 80 miles an hour, and then some of the shifter karts I've driven go 120 miles an hour.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're not the go-karts at the little fun place, or was it slip and slides over
a little
here?
bit more serious. Yeah, and they're an inch from the ground, no seatbelt, and
okay,
you're racing people, wheel to wheel, and it's fun. I'm actually doing a race next week, so but it was crazy. My first race I went out my first lap, do one slow lap to kind of get the feel of it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go for it. So I go out, and the first turn of my first hot lap, I locked up the brakes and spun out and ended up in the gravel.
Oh, wow.
Like, ooh. So that was a hell of an introduction, but yeah, then I calmed down, and I don't know, just...
How fast was that? How fast were you going and doing that?
75 or so.
Damn.
70, 75, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's in a real car, that's crazy, let alone in a little... Well, it's not really a little go-kart, is it? It's not like... I mean, I kind of seen them, but I've never been up close to one. Even though where I'm from, there was a racing track. Mm-hmm. I never went to a single race though.
No, it's basically a seat, an engine, tires, a little bit of body work, and you. So
and you in a helmet.
Yeah, and a helmet and a suit and everything.
Now, have you won races?
Yeah, I've won a couple races.
Oh, nice.
And mostly club races. Nothing too serious. The most serious thing I've done was when I went to Florida to race.
Oh, okay.
And that was really interesting. It was part of like this competition where if you win, you get like a ride in this championship, like to move up to like Indy cars and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
And I did that, and most people I was racing with, they've been go-karting since they were zygotes. They were, they're all came from like big money, and they've been racing their entire lives and everything. And I was there, and I'd only been karting for 2 years at that point, and I was like a little bit older than everyone else too. And I held my own, but yeah, that was like a wake-up call too, because
that's you start getting into the real elite sort of drivers.
Exactly, and also the kind of being by yourself too, and it was kind of funny too, because all I could afford was the plane ticket there and back,
okay, and
a rental car. So I slept in my rental car, which was a Nissan little hatchback, little shit box, and it was funny. The track, it was in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's in the middle of the swamp. Surrounded by alligators.
Wow.
So there I am sleeping in my little rent-a-car in the middle of Florida, and I got like, visions of like, oh, if I win, it's going to be a big break and everything like that. And
of course,
while I was sleeping, a huge thunderstorm rolled through, and actually a tornado touched down like less than a mile from the track.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I get in this little car and like it's shaking and stuff, and it's like, I'm going to die. This is cool. But yeah, so back to the competition. Yeah, I did that, and this was an actual race car. It's kind of like scaled down. It was through Skip Barber, which they do a big racing school nationwide, and they're basically like scaled down Indy cars. And that was my first time actually driving an actual car, with like wings and tires and everything. And,
oh shit! Okay.
And it was cool. The first session we did, it rained, so. That was also my first time driving a car, flat out in the rain too. So I was like, trying to find grip and everything.
Keep it from crashing at least, right?
Yeah, I remember. It's weird too because you kind of become one with the car in a weird way.
Okay.
And I remember there's a moment there where I was actually on the outside and this guy was on the inside and he was passing me. So, and we were in the middle of the turn. And I remember I was like kind of looking over, you know, making sure that, you know, we had space. And then I looked down and my hands on the steering wheel were like this.
Oh.
And I was like, oh shit. And then I don't know, it's just somehow I just I don't know what I did, you know, with the throttle or what have you. But I just opened up the hands and like it was settled the car down and I didn't crash, which that was one of those moments where it's like, you know,
what the fuck? And how fast are you going in this one?
This car was, I think they got up to 135, 140, I think.
Damn.
Yeah, but we had seatbelts and everything.
Okay.
So
these times you have seatbelts.
Yeah.
And is it just a circle track?
No, it was a road course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So
a lot of, you know, braking and then going down through the gears, you know, heel and toe with the clutch and everything. And you go back up and go through the gears again to the turns.
But you don't have your own car. You over there and the school gives you a car.
At the school, yeah, it was all provided. But with the carts, you know, it's my, you know, everyone brings their own cart.
Okay.
Or, you know, prep their own cart. And with my deal, like I kind of go in with someone and we kind of go at it 50-50 with the like.
Gotcha. So maybe like there's more than one race or something on the night, and you guys switch or something.
No. Like he like basically like his son also. It's an older guy, so his son also races, and we just kind of him and his son and I kind of have like a team going on with the karting. So
it's a big deal, huh? Wow.
Well, in my head it is.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's mostly club racing right now, but. My plan is to move up and start doing more like regional events and national events, and you know. But
this is where people get their starts from, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to another podcast, Danica Patrick.
Yep.
She got her start in go-karts.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn, and now she's, you know, a fucking professional pilot or whatever you call the race car drivers.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the plan. I mean, and the odds of that happening now at my age are like slim to none, but it's still fun to do and it's still fun to push and, you know, see what kind of trouble I get into.
Now, in my ignorant mind, I'm thinking, man, you're just driving. Does age really play into like reflexes, endurance, or some sort of, you know, it's not like football or baseball where it's a finite. I mean,
it does and it doesn't. I mean, it's very physically demanding. Especially in like the shifter carts, going through the turns. You experience about 2 to 3 G's in the corners of lateral G's.
Okay.
So you have to be in shape to do it well. I mean, you don't have to be in shape, but it helps. I don't know. I mean, there's people that I race with that are in their 50s and 60s, and they do fine. So age isn't a factor, but as far as like making a career out of it, age is a factor. Obviously, you want to get as started as early as possible, and that's kind of where I'm at a disadvantage because, you know, most people, they start go-karting at like age 8 or 9 or so, you know, or of course I started at 23, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. It's just,
well, I can.
I mean, right now too. Like I'm competitive about it, but I'm not like. I know that I'm not going to make a career out of it, so it kind of, I guess that allows me to enjoy it a little bit more. And I don't know if it happens, it happens. So,
well, here's one thing that I can tell you about from what I learned about photography in that specific situation is like, and this is what I was actually having a conversation with somebody about this the other day too. Is now obviously I don't know how financially draining racing is as opposed to photography, but I know, you know, I've sunk a lot of money into photography.
Yep.
But if I approach something like this, I never approach photography like, oh, if I don't make certain amount of money by X date, I'm going to quit and stop doing that. Because otherwise I got into photography for the completely wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And case in point, I'm not rich from photography. I have a day job. I call myself a photographer with a day job, first of all, because I don't fucking shoot weddings, because fuck that. But I've continued to fuel my passion with a day job and being able to do what I want to do. And it's funny, I started photographing years ago. Mm-hmm. And the people that started out with me photographing are no longer here. And I'm like, well, what are you doing for a creative outlet? Now, I understand racing must be some sort of at least emotional catharsis. It definitely seems like it's a creative. You just don't go willy nilly running around the track. It's some sort of, you apply some sort of creativity to racing.
There's a strategy to it too.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just take it turn by turn. You got to plan out the entire lap. You got to plan out the entire race. What your plan is to, if you want to, like if you're racing with someone, do I pass them now or do I wait a couple laps, or, if it's the last lap, which part of the track do I pass this person, or if you're ahead, where do I defend, or how do I defend, it's like this whole thing too, where it's like you get this rhythm going down too. And it's, I don't know, it's like this, this huge endorphin rush, it's like, it's like doing drugs, but, way more expensive, and it hurts more, I guess that's the only way I could describe it. And like, like a lot of, the personality traits too, I guess, are similar too.
I was going to ask, is this something like when I play a lot of poker.
Yep.
When you race against certain people, do you see that how they tend to race, or how their strategy, and then you know what to do in that certain situation, or like, okay, this cat, or girls, are there a lot of girl racers too out there?
There's some,
okay, so the driver, you say, you're head to head, or you're at a certain spot in the race or something. You understand what their tendencies are the more you race, and you adjust accordingly, sort of thing.
Yeah, you know who you can go wheel to wheel with. Who's fast, who's slow, or if you follow someone, you could see like what part of the track you're faster, or what part of the track they're faster. So,
oh, okay.
There's a lot of different, there's some people where, you can kind of get in their head on track,
you
can like follow them and, rattle their cage more or less. And there's some people that, are just cold and they just are set fast time lap after lap. They put their cart in the same spot, no matter what kind of pressure or where you're at, so, you do. There's a lot more to it than just mashing the gas. There's a it's a lot more nuanced. At least I make it out that way, I guess. Maybe I'm putting too much thought into it, but it's insane. Just the kind of things too, when you're that focused and you're going that speed and there's that much going on, the kind of things that just kind of go through your head too.
Yeah,
weird things that you notice too, like weird sounds in the engine or something like that, or you go through a turn, there's like a little bit of a bump, that's there that wasn't there before, stuff like that.
You must be in some kind of zone when you're going that fast and doing some things at crazy turns at high velocity, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's weird too. When you at a certain point too, when you go above a certain speed for so long, your brain kind of adjusts, and then everything kind of slows down. It's really weird.
Okay.
So it doesn't feel like you're going that fast until something goes wrong, or you lose a little bit of concentration or something happens. But I don't know. It's a rush.
What kind of car do you eventually? Are you a Formula One guy? Are you a NASCAR guy? Are you I don't know, Le Mans? That's my extent of racing. What kind of car would you eventually, if the dream came true? Where would you like to? What kind of machine are you going to be driving?
Yes, all of them. No,
yeah.
I mean, I love I'm such a racing junkie. Like actually pretty much everything except NASCAR I'm really into.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
NASCAR I'm not too big on, but everything else, F1, I follow that a lot. IndyCar, I love. That's probably my favorite series right now, is watching the IndyCar series in the Indy 500. And I was actually, my first paid photography gig was an IndyCar race.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, Le Mans. I love Le Mans. Love sports car racing. Drag racing I love. And here's a fun fact. I'm actually on the pit crew of a Top Fuel team. That's another thing I do, yeah.
Nice.
I had to kind of talk my way into that. I have no idea what I'm doing. But so a couple weeks we're going to be testing out at Firebird with our Top Fueler and our funny car. So.
Oh, wow. Those cars open up.
Yeah.
Then nice.
So, yeah, basically, my job is to, put everything together that blows up and, make sure I put it back together in the right way and get dirty and make sure the car goes down the track safe. So,
what's the difference between Formula One and IndyCar racing?
Different rules. I mean, Indy cars, they have ovals and road courses. Instead of F1, you just do road courses. F1's World Championship. So they race around the world, whereas IndyCar, it's more of a national deal. We don't have races in the U.S. and Canada.
But the cars are the same?
No, the cars are different. In F1, every team builds their own car.
Okay.
And they're also, F1 cars are hybrids, and they cost like a couple bazillion dollars.
Yeah.
Whereas IndyCar, it's one at least right now, it's one chassis. Manufacturer, and there's two engines, Chevy and Honda, and
really?
Yeah, and they're a lot more basic. They don't have power steering or traction control or anything, or ABS or anything like that. So it's very it's a lot more raw in my opinion.
Mechanical.
Yeah. So, and I think the racing's better. F1, I mean, that's like the top echelon.
That's like an airplane that just doesn't fly or stays on the ground, it seems like, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Those things are crazy.
Yeah.
Are there drivers out there that can do more than one thing, or do most cars like special? Because I'm thinking about Talladega Nights, where the guy went from F1 to NASCAR.
Yep.
Are there basically, do you specialize as a driver in one genre, or if you're a badass race driver, you're going to be good at all of them?
It's kind of both. Some drivers specialize in one thing, like some like F1 or IndyCar drivers. That's all they do. There's some drivers that, they do branch out, like Fernando Alonso. He was an F1 champion, and then he did the Indy 500. He's doing it again. He does Le Mans, with Toyota, and he also does like rally racing now too. And there's a lot of drivers that branch out because they're drivers. They want to race. A lot of racers, they want to race whatever they can, whenever they can. And that's actually how it was up until about the 70s or 80s. A lot of race car drivers raced everything. I mean, there's a lot of drivers that Jim Clark and Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt back in the 60s, where they would race F1, IndyCar, NASCAR, sports cars, Can-Am. They raced everything. But that was also back when there was less money in it, so you had to race a lot of different things to get paid. Now
the money basically is enormous, and once you get to the top level anyway, right? I mean, it's just like
yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, at the top level, yes, but it's such a huge. I mean, it's such an expensive sport, and
I can imagine.
And sponsorship too. That's one thing that's becoming harder and harder to get. So yes and no.
How close is Days of Thunder to the real thing?
It's actually a lot closer than you realize.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually because Days of Thunder is it's actually based off a real life driver. This guy Tim Richmond.
Okay.
He raced NASCAR in the 80s, and he was like their kind of bad boy. He rode on a Harley and everything, and anyways, so yeah, a lot of the accidents in that movie are actually based on real events.
Okay.
Even the whole, pit stop with the ice cream and everything, that was actually a real thing that happened, believe it or not.
Nice.
Yeah. It's actually it's actually unironically my favorite racing movie. Believe it or not, is Days of Thunder. Wait, did you say Talladega Nights or Days of Thunder?
No, the Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder, is, Tom Cruise, yeah.
Yeah, I know Talladega Nights probably is a big stretch. I mean, I don't know how many people run to the to the finish line when they crash, right?
So back to photography.
Yeah, it's crazy. The thing that I find completely fascinating about a sport like race car driving, is that death is imminent. Like, some of the best race car drivers in the world, and I just say that because I know who Dale Earnhardt was, and I know who a couple other people are. They get to the top of their sport, they're champions, but you just don't know what day it's your turn when you hit a bad turn, something like that. I find that fucking fascinating, probably second only to fighter pilots or something like that. When you're running around, is there something in the back of your head that goes, maybe not die, but I could fucking break a leg today or break an arm or something when I get into an accident? Is that something that you worry about constantly, or is just fuck it? It's just something it's part of the thing.
It's hard to say. I mean, I think it's one of those things where if you're really psychoanalyze it, it's always there in the back of your head, but you don't want to let it get to you, For example, last year, I was racing my go-kart at Firebird Raceway out in Chandler, or now it's Wild Horse Pass. So I was going into one of the turns, and there was a concrete wall on the outside, and I locked up and I spun and actually hit the wall in my cart. And
wow!
Luckily, I did it to where actually when I spun, I actually did a 180 and hit it going in backwards.
Okay.
And cracked a rib, which that hurt. Cracked my seat, which is a fiberglass seat. I cracked it in. It's interesting too. I mean, if I was maybe a little bit closer to that wall, I would have hit it feet first, and who knows what would have happened there. But I don't know. Instead of worried about it, I hopped into. I had a friend who had an extra cart, so I hopped in his cart and went back out.
Nice.
And
with a broken rib?
Yeah, because I didn't feel it until the next day.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, and then with my cart, we fixed the seat. Luckily, all we did was bent rear axle, so I put a new axle in it and went out, finished second, and
nice.
Woke up the next morning and I couldn't get out of bed. It was great.
Oh shit!
But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I don't know. Like it's I don't know. I don't really. I don't know. I mean, obviously, you want to do everything to, you want to do everything to prepare yourself safety wise to where you don't get hurt, and you don't want to die. That's for sure.
Yeah, of course, right.
But I mean, if you do, at least you're dying doing something that you love, and not dying of like a, staph infection at a hospital or something.
Yeah, tell me about it. Right.
No offense. What are you doing with yourself?
Yeah, what's going on here? What does that fuel your photography at all? Is there something? I would imagine that maybe at some point, and this is probably a retarded question, but maybe at some point you would try to make a photograph or even make a drawing that would somehow capture what you feel when you're behind the wheel. I don't think that there's too many race car drivers out there that have a photography passion, and probably even less that would probably even less that would be able to approach a project to make us feel a certain way when we see a photograph. Do you have any sort of projects in the future about how maybe you can portray some of that emotion that you feel through photography or drawing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like when I'm shooting racing events, I I don't know. I think it helps me. It gives me kind of an advantage over some of the other photographers out there, because I got, I've been behind the wheel, so I kind of know, at least have like a rough idea of what's going through the driver's mind, and so like what they're going to do, where they're going to turn, like what's the best angle to be at,
Yeah.
And that's also one thing. So whenever I shoot racing too, I like having a lot of motion and a lot of movement,
Okay.
And I think that's kind of caused by me being out there and knowing what I have to go through. I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer that question, but yes.
Yes. Man, I would love to. That's definitely something that, as far as a photographer goes, projecting equivalence, some sort of emotion that's felt through an image is one of the hardest things you can do. And I would just, hopefully one day, if you take that one picture that's like, dude, this is racing, I would love to check it out for sure, man. I mean, it's just something that I think would be amazing. I mean, obviously it's a moving picture, movies like Days of Thunder and what's that Paul Newman movie?
Winning?
Was it Winning? And
there's also a Grand Prix with James Gardner. It's a good one.
Grand Prix. Is that the one? Have you seen the new one?
Oh, Ford versus Ferrari?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw it in theaters, yeah. With Christian Bale.
Yeah. With the Batmans.
Yeah.
What'd you
Batmans?
What'd you think about that guy or that movie?
Yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it. I think it captured the spirit of it. The racing nerd in me, the accuracy of some of the scenes. I was like, well. But
okay.
Once you put that aside, I think it was really well done. I think it captured, Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles, and a lot of people, even in racing, don't even know who Ken Miles was or what kind of important role he played with the whole, Ford GT40 program and everything. So that's what I also liked about that movie too.
Now, you guys, racers, do you guys have your own little culture? You guys hang out and like go to, I don't know, the Kansas City Grill or something, like in Top Gun or something? I don't know. Do you guys, is there like a certain culture where you guys kind of, even though you guys are racing against each other and probably fucking throwing each other off the track, like when you're off the track, do you guys are cool, or fuck it, is you guys still competitive like the wheelchair racing and yeah?
No, it's a lot more. I think it's a lot more. It's a lot more camaraderie. Yes, friendship. How about that?
Yeah.
Camaraderie. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That took like 18 tries to get out. Wow, yikes. Yeah, no, I mean, most people I race with, I would consider really close friends, and I mean that's the one thing that a lot of these people too. That's the only thing I have in common with them,
Yeah,
But
okay,
it is that one thing that just draws everyone together, and it's just, I don't know. There's something about racing. It's not just, I feel like no other sport has it because you're so invested into it too. I mean, it's not only, you going out there, it's also the technical preparation of the car or the cart, it's that investment as well. And, there's also the action of it, and the danger, and I don't know. There's so many facets to it, and it's kind of sad how it is kind of stereotyped and just like if you ain't first or last,
Yeah, no, exactly. Which
is true, by the way.
Right. It's if you're not there to win, what are you there to do, right? Coming second. What?
First loser.
First loser. Do you So there's a big mix of people. I mean, there's from doctors and lawyers to plumbers and whatever that are all race car drivers. I mean, I assume that there's got to be some sort of tax bracket you got to be in to afford a race car of any kind. Because I assume it's not just having the car, it's maintaining it
Yep.
In my head, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But there is a big conglomerate of people, all different types of people that are part of the race culture.
Yeah.
Anything surprising with that culture that came about that you were not expecting when you first got into racing with other people?
I don't know. Well, I mean, the thing I like about it is, I mean, everyone there's a racer, or even if they're not actually racing behind the wheel, if they're just like, on the, on the periphery of it, whether that's on the crew or one of the supply, organizing, like everyone there, they're all there for one thing, and it doesn't matter what they do or who they are or what color they are, or, how tall, how short, how fat. Everyone's there for that, and that's all that matters. And that's what I kind of like about it too. It's like it's just this one big family of one big fast family.
Nice. Hell yeah.
But no, it's just like I don't know. I think that's what I like about it too. Is like no matter what's going on out there and whatever bullshit's happening, whatever's happening at the track, it's always there. So, are
there any rivalries though between like a couple of you guys out there? Do you have a rival yourself? A Cole Trickle out there?
Yeah, I think my biggest rival is myself. But okay. No, I mean, there are a couple people, where it's like, where they beat you and you're like, oh,
anybody but that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the league I race in, it's a lot more relaxed because it isn't the top echelon. I mean, it's really mostly club. It's at a club level. So it's not, like we're mostly, friendly and everything.
Still having fun.
Yeah. Sure. Like it really we don't, I mean, there's a couple people like this, but we don't like bang wheels or, try to kill each other too much. But good. You go to, I mean, like when I went to Florida, it was different, it's like, people that were just like
very cutthroat
and, get the ice in their veins,
Nice.
And then I was there and I was like, hey, this is when I have a mustache too. So
yeah. Rocking
my mustache. Yes. I missed that thing. I should grow it back.
I think so. Let me take a portrait of it too when you're not. Now,
so for people that are listening, I used to have a really, I'm not bragging, but it was a really epic mustache. Like this thing had its own zip code.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
It was almost Raleigh Fingers-esque stature. Just a little more and you could have started waxing those tips.
Exactly. And what's crazy too is with my mustache, I never really waxed it. It just naturally did that.
Nice.
I'm kind of lucky, I guess. I don't know. It just without even trying, it just did this epic,
What
on a good mustache day. So you had bad mustache.
Oh,
days
really?
Too.
You got good days and bad days.
I mean, there was one morning I woke up, and actually this was when I shaved it off. Was I woke up one morning and one side was pointed up and the other side was pointed down. And I just looked at myself in the mirror and went, I don't want to deal with this anymore. So shaved it off.
Now, obviously, we keep talking about race car driving, and one of the things that I want to get that out of is like race car driving to me is fascinating. Is that it's very competitive. The way that I see it as an outsider looking in, it's very competitive. But when I first met you, you were a photographer, and I got no streak of competitive vibe from you at all. Do you have a sort of, aside from probably competition with yourself as far as getting better, do you compete with maybe other influences with your photography? Maybe not necessarily other photographers, but maybe other image makers or other movies, or are you just really have a good job of separating the racing world from the artistic side of you, photography wise?
I only have one rival, and that's Ben Thrasher.
Damn Ben.
Damn Ben. And his good photography. I was actually at a show, or his opening, all his stuff's at display at the Phoenix Film Morale. I love Ben. He's a great friend, actually. It's just funny how we, because we're both in the racing. He shoots a lot of the dirt track stuff, and mostly cross cross paths. What is wrong with me? Cross paths a lot. So, but, no, I don't say I would say I'm more competitive with myself. Obviously, like, you see certain images and you see how beautiful they are, and like, or, that you see some images that like you look at it and go, that's, you think about what goes behind it, it's like, wow, maybe, this is another level. And then you go, okay, well, why can't I do that? So then you try it, and then you just kind of keep pushing. And that's kind of, I would say I'm mostly competitive with myself. Every photo I take, I hate. Every photo I take, I look at it and go, maybe I should have done this, I should have done that. Not that I don't want to say I won't say like in a negative way, like, oh, this sucks, but I'm always, I don't know, every image, it's always something, I always think about what I could change, maybe, shooting it at, f 5.6 instead of f4 or what have you, or shooting it at a slower shutter speed or higher shutter speed, or doing this, that, or the other, or,
always trying to get better. As far as trying to outdo someone else.
I wouldn't say outdo someone else, but try to outdo myself, I guess. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I don't like comparing myself to other people because I don't like, I don't know. I don't like, I'm always inspired by other people, like other photographers. But I don't try to copy people. I don't like look at a photo of, I don't look like an Ansel Adams photo and go, I'm going to copy that.
Yeah.
Or, like that. I think that's the problem with a lot of photography today is everyone's, they're doing the same shot of the same subject the same way. And it's just, there's no personality. It's very cookie cutter. I don't want to fall into that. I always want my stuff to be my own and to have a little bit of my identity in it,
Yes. Everybody's looking for those likes and, that picture got 1,000 likes. So I'm going to try and get 1,000 likes too. So let me take a picture just like that too. What the fuck? Now, one of the things that got me into photography is, I love music. That's my whole thing. And I'm really obsessed with Jimi Hendrix. So early on, I figured out, well, shit, I can't be Jimi Hendrix, who can be Jimi Hendrix, And, but as I started going through the history of Jimi Hendrix, I finally clicked into the photography part of it. Well, shit, if I can't be Jimi Hendrix, I can take pictures of Jimi Hendrix or, my whatever musical idols I have today. Is there, aside from like Sports Illustrated sort of photographers, or maybe they are, is there like a photographer in racing that we should be talking about or that about that is probably an underdog, an underrated sort of?
Out of all the racing photographers out there, there's one that always kind of stood out to me. And it was this German guy whose name I cannot pronounce whatsoever.
Okay.
So how's that? But I have his book, and it's called Grand Prix Fascination, I think is what it's called. And it's I think the book came out in 92, so it's all photos that this guy took. Rene Schmelger, it's a long German name. Anyways, he shot mostly like Formula One and Le Mans and things like that. And the thing I like about his photos is that it's very creative, and he's not just a lot of it, racing and sports photographers in general. Like every shot that they do is all just the same, like everything's in focus, still shots, and whereas this guy, all his shots are there's a lot of action. It's very dynamic, and he was doing stuff in the. He was doing stuff in the 60s and 70s that, you know, were just, you know, we're like zooming in and out on the, you know, while panning and stuff like that. There's all these cool stuff, all this, you know, I don't even know half the stuff that this guy did, but he did it really, really well. And I've always been fascinated with his stuff. And if I can remember how to pronounce his name, I'll tell you.
Well, we'll look it up, and if I find it, I'll put it in the show notes just so we have reference to go back on.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you have your own art show coming up.
Yes.
All right. And when is this?
It's right now. It's we're planning on April.
Okay.
First Friday in April, opening at Phoenix Film Revival.
Nice.
So, right now, I think the theme is going to be planes, trains, and automobiles. That's going to be the name of it. I think.
Okay.
That's the thing that kind of stuck out in my head when I was planning a show, because I do have a lot of photos of planes, trains, and automobiles. So I feel like it would work. And so I'm doing prints right now, and it's the plan is to have all the photos there. Are ones that were either developed or printed or both at Phoenix Film Revival too. So that way it ties in as well.
Are you, all film?
All film, yeah. And you know, right now it's you know, it's a little early, but right now Danny and I are planning it, and it's working on the prints and everything too. And yeah, I'm excited. I've never actually had my own you know, my own show, I guess, or exhibit. Yeah. So it is kind of nervous, but no, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited.
You should be. Hell yeah.
It's I know it's kind of nice too to actually. I mean, it's one thing to post your stuff out there, you know, on the internet, but or like amongst your friends or what have you, but to actually have it physically on display somewhere, you know, it's something that I'm really looking forward to.
How many photographs?
I don't know. I'll find out.
Okay. All right.
Again, it's a couple months away, so right now I'm just going to Phoenix Film Revival every chance I can get, and just trying to crank out as many prints as I can. And I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to be going to a couple of auctions up in Scottsdale soon, so see what kind of content I can get from there too.
Oh, the car stuff.
Oh, the car auctions, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how much I'm going to have, but I'm going to try to get as much as I can out. So
have you have you printed a lot of your pictures before in any, even, you know, inkjet or any other format before, or
not really? No. Well, I mean, I have a scanner at home, like an Epson V600 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I've never really printed much of my stuff, and actually, until last month, I've never did any darkroom stuff, you know. So it's so I mean, that's also why I'm doing it too. Is you know, it's forcing me to learn, and I want to get to the point where I can get really creative with it too, with the dark room, and really kind of get my images in a way where I really want them, or kind of, I don't know, just get crazy with it.
Yes.
And that's how I learned too. I mean, that's how I learned photography. It was mostly just getting into it and just doing it. Not really, you know, reading and, you know, not going into a classroom, just kind of, going at it. And I do have to give a huge shout out to Daniel for being patient with me. And, he's a great teacher as well. And, you know, he's been really, really helpful, and, helping me get to where I should be, I guess. And, you know, and he's really the one that's kind of encouraged me as well, which, I can't thank him enough for that. To Daniel's credit, I think he's a perfect person to open up that community out there. He's very patient, very giving with his time, very passionate
to where his lab and Phoenix Film Revival is very unique in the sense of, like, I think there's other labs out there too, and shout out to them as well. But I don't feel the camaraderie. There's that word again. I fucked up. I think
it's okay.
That I feel when we go to Phoenix Film Revival and go on there first Fridays or in second or third Fridays or whatever else is happening there. We all seem to kind of see each other.
Exactly. And there's been times where, I've come in there and it's Daniel and, 5 strangers. And then I've walked out and those 5 strangers became 5 friends,
Yeah.
And I think the kind of people that it draws. And it's just, I like the fact that it's giving back to the community as well. It's not, like you said, there's a lot of conglomerate. Yes, there's a lot of stuff and things.
Yeah.
It's under. I don't know. It just there's a there's something. It's just there's something you can't put your finger on it, but there's just like an energy, like a that's around that place. That you just I don't know. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess in order to properly explain it to people who might like movies or, specifically John Cusack movies, I get the feeling that it's more of a vibe of that High Fidelity movie, with the Jack Black, and that's the right movie, right?
I don't know. I was thinking more Field of Dreams.
Oh, yeah. Field of Dreams. If you build it,
they will come. Hey. Yeah. And he did, and they're coming.
And
arriving. If they're coming in there, that's gross.
Well, yeah, we got you. Maybe. But we were just talking about the location. Not to give too much plug out to Phoenix Film Revival. Go check them out at Phoenix Film Revival.
No, plug away. They need all the support they can get.
No, he's one of the sponsors of the show. Actually, I put him down all the time because he's helped me out tremendously as well.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the location. It couldn't be better, in my opinion. Yeah. Central Phoenix, right in the Arts District.
Right on Grand Avenue.
Yeah.
Which that's there's a lot of good things happening on Grand Avenue. And I think, all the bad things that happened on Roosevelt and that art district and how that kind of became commercialized and homogenized and gentrified and all that, all the other ides. I think, to people on Grand Avenue, they look at that and they don't want that to happen there. And I think there's like you said, there's a lot of camaraderie. I should slow down. Wow. Camaraderie amongst other people on Grand Avenue as well. To just kind of support each other. And there definitely is an energy in that area. There's a lot of good things happening. And Phoenix Film Revival is just one of them. And I think being there and being where the heart of the action is, you couldn't have picked a better location.
I'm glad you said that about Roosevelt Row or whatever they're calling it now. Is just that I do want to, when I first moved here, I did want to go there and experience art and a lot of people walking around and appreciating art. But the more you go, the more you realize it's business oriented. And I don't think in a good way. I mean, don't get me wrong. I appreciate that it's all art and that art is getting people together. But at the same time, it's a certain kind of art that isn't like, it's not geared towards.
It's very cookie cutter. It's all the same. It's like, it's like the same bar with the same Edison lights, with the same lager on tap, with the same gourmet burger and the same gourmet sweet potato fries and the same metal chairs and the same ampersand in the name,
Yes.
It's like they're all uniquely the same. And that's kind of what Roosevelt has turned into, is just that homogenized, creative, corporate creative kind of
yeah.
I don't know. And there's a word for it. Gentrified, I guess, is for lack of a better term, but it's more than that.
It's creative corporate creative. I think was a good phrase there. I think that's exactly what it is. To where people are creative to make a buck, and not more so to go into the dark room and experiment with what am I going to do today here? You know, it's like, we'll see what happens.
Well, you can always tell the vibe of an area by how many people are smiling. I know it's going to sound kind of sappy, but you go to Roosevelt and everyone just kind of has the same like, you know, And then you go to Grand Avenue and it's like, you know, everyone's smiling, people are interacting, you know, and you walk into a place and it's like, there's a lot more positive energy, you know, and I know that sounds kind of savvy, but there's energy to places. And, you used to get that at some places on Roosevelt, but not anymore. But you go into Grand and you go into, whether it be PFR or, if you go to like maybe Trans Am or any of the other shops around there, or even the motorcycle shop across the street, there's something, there's something going on there. And I think everyone's kind of out there to help each other too out there,
there's something, it feels more genuine and more...
and it helps that there's a liquor store on that street too, which helps.
Oh yeah, and the pizza shop.
Oh yeah, shout out to Grand Avenue Pizza and their special with the macaroni and cheese and jalapenos. I'm trying to lose weight this year, and that's not helping.
Oh man, I haven't tried that yet. I got to go. Next time I'm down there, I'm gonna fucking...
That's actually what's really bringing me down there. Not Daniel, not the film, not developing, just that pizza.
The pizza and what was it? The jalapeno macaroni?
They're special. It's like mac and cheese, bacon, jalapenos on a pizza.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I got it. Oh no.
You're getting the sweats now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, what are we doing here? What time
is it?
We gotta go.
Gotta make, yeah.
What? So you've
that's what really motivates me is pizza.
Pizza is dude. I had pizza 3 times last week.
Oh yeah.
And
there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm not even ashamed to say that.
Hey, you know what? The Papa John's guy. Did you see that interview that he did where he ate 40 pizzas in 30 days?
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with it, man.
No, and well, at the rate I'm going, I guess I'm qualified to ride in a pizza joint too, right?
Yeah. Day of reckoning.
What what's your next project? What you once your art show is done,
take over the world?
Yes, you and Brainy and the
Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's multiple steps. I think next goal is to get to the point where my photography is I guess self-sustaining, I guess, to where, it is to a point where, I can expand on it. And I guess, I don't know. I mean, as far as projects, getting the 5x7 camera, getting that up and running and start doing more large format photography. That's one thing I want to get into more. And I think just right now, short term is just going into the dark room at Phoenix Film Revival and just learning more about that and just getting more involved and getting more creative with that, and just another creative outlet. You can never have too many creative outlets,
Ain't that the truth?
Exactly. And I guess I'm kind of lucky too. I got so many fucking hobbies. Like my free time, I don't have any free time anymore, man.
Good. But, it's less time in front of the television.
I know. Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like I don't even watch. I hate to sound like one of those like I'm better than you. I don't watch TV. But I don't even watch TV. Like I mean, if I'm watching, it's usually racing or hockey or something, or like I don't really, or a documentary on YouTube from 40 years ago. Like that's mostly what I watch. I don't know. It's just. I like to stay active and get out there. And even if I am bored, I just hop in my truck and drive somewhere and with my camera and just start exploring, like, I don't know. Like they said, you can never like boring, if you're bored, you're a boring person. Like, I don't know where I'm going with that, but I don't know. I always try to keep my brain active and try to, the more you do, the more you get done, whereas if you just lay in your bed all day and like look at the clock turn, you know,
Yeah.
then, you know, you get nothing done. Whereas, you know, you get, if you start working at it and you start doing this, that, and the other, things happen. And I think that's, I don't know, that's my goal, is to keep working, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Just keep going at it and, not take any breaks and not take any shit and just, go at it. I guess. I don't know. Just, I don't know. Just to keep on keeping on and stay true to myself, you know. And I think that's the big thing too, is, everyone's you know, there's a lot of individuality that's pushed on people now. It's like, you know, be yourself and like be an individual. But I think with that, you know, it's a lot of, you know, I think there's a lot of people that are different for the sake of being different, but they're not really true with themselves as far as being different, you know. Where I think if you stay true to yourself and you just are who you are, you know, if you're different, if you're not, you're not. But just stay true to yourself, and I think once you do that, then you'll. That's what I discovered outside of high school, you know, like just kind of be true to myself. And from there, you just discover, you know, what gets you. And that's when you really get creative, you know, where you're not trying to follow someone or follow a certain, you know, trend or what have you, when you're just, you know, oh, this interests me, this subject interests me, and let me shoot this, or let me draw this, or let me shoot it this way, or I like it when it's shooting it this way, you know, down low or up high or what have you, or doing a Dutch angle or what have you. You know, that's. I think once you become true with yourself, then all the creativeness happens naturally.
Yeah, I totally agree. Where the more you know about yourself, the more you are honest with yourself and what you can and can't do. While it seems like, using those words, it seems like you're limiting yourself, but I think you're doing the exact opposite, to where it allows you to be creative. And in a weird way, okay, you might know what your limitations are, and let's break the limitations. Or you might be really well doing something that no one else is doing, and it's all about, again, knowing yourself, being honest with yourself, being true to yourself, and without trying to sound like a cliche sort of thing.
Being true to yourself and knowing how to take criticism too. You know, you don't want to be, you don't want a big ego and like, oh, I'm perfect. You know, my shit doesn't stink. Like you gotta stay humble too. You gotta know when to listen to criticism, whether it's good or bad. You know, and because you could always learn something, you know, from that. And that's the main thing too. Is always taking some. You know, you should always learn from every experience that you have. You know, and kind of learn how to turn it around into a positive. Like, you know, when I opened a show, you know, where I got, you know, fired from my job, you know, instead of, you know, having my dick in the dirt and going, oh, what the fuck, what am I going to do? You know? I looked at it as, okay, well, I have a ton of free time now. So let's use this opportunity to pursue what I want to do. And, you know, if it works out, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But, you know, if it doesn't work out, at least I tried, I hope. So, and, so I figured, you know, it's like at my age, you know, it's a perfect, you know, I'm at the right age where I could still do that and get away with it. And even if you are older, you could still do stuff. And as long as you're passionate about it, you could do it. Oh yeah. I think that's a problem too, is a lot of people are like, oh, I'm too old to do this, or like, I'm too old to start over. You know, it's bullshit, you know? I mean, you can learn, you learn up until the day you die, you know? Yeah, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Exactly. And it's funny. My dog's 10. I taught her how to shake hands. There you go. My buddy is going through a similar situation that you are, where he didn't get fired. He quit because his boss is an asshole. And he, at this point, was really into photography, of course, and he reached out to me and he goes, hey man, show me as much as you can about this, because I got the free time. And he was just, point is, he's an older gentleman,
and wants to be, and he's passionate about photography, and he's passionate about a lot of things, and he's all, let's get this done while I'm in between jobs. And lucky for him, he's got the resources to do what he has for a while. And right now he's like, dude, if I get back to work, it's just going to be part-time because I don't give a shit, because I've more or less done all I can through, he's been working at the same thing for 25 years.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, it's never too old to go do what you're passionate about. Only you are your own obstacle in that sort of mentality. So, okay, man, take advantage of this free time while you got it. I mean, it sounds like, I don't want to sound like I'm very nonchalant about not having a job or anything like that, but it's just a job. I mean, it's like you don't have a family or anything you're taking care of. It doesn't seem like, or
I hope not.
Yeah. So I mean, the time to do it is now. And then
worst comes to worst, I can do Postmates, man.
There you go. Or was it Uber?
Man, I got a pickup truck, man. Oh yeah, Uber delivery, Uber Eats. Yeah. As I said, Uber, man. I got a pickup truck, man. I don't think I'll go work. Like, hey, get in the back.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, maybe some parts of the world.
Maybe
that would actually be a good photography project too.
Yeah.
Uber driver asking people to take their portraits of all your clients.
You know what? That would be a good idea, but I could see a lot of people like, a lot of weird.
I guess the way that I would do it now that I'm fucking just brainstorming on a fucking fantasy project that I will never do, is if somebody got into my car, I would have a sign posted on the back seat. So when you get in, you say, hey, I'm a photographer. I'm working on an art project. If I can take your picture or your portrait, please let me know. I shoot on old school cameras. And in this way, if they read it, they go, yeah, or this way it's kind of, I'm not bothering people unless they are putting people on the spot, more or less.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Like, whenever I do, like, go on the street and shoot, like, I don't know. I always feel weird about shooting random people. And
yeah, I was going to mention that. There's a lot of it seems like at least the things that I've seen, there's not a lot of people.
Yeah, I kind of like, I don't know.
It's a desolate landscape. And mostly the ones I've seen or at least my favorite ones are the ones at night.
Yeah, and I don't like having, I don't know. I mean, there's a couple shots I've done of people that have turned out good, but I don't know. I'm always terrible. It seems like I always capture people at the wrong moments,
Uh-huh.
Like, making like a weird face, like, but I don't know. Like, I feel like, I don't know. A lot of photos are, people driven, and everything else is kind of secondary. And I kind of want to do the opposite, where it's like it's driven by the landscape or, or whatever is there. And I don't know, just, that desolation where it's like, I don't know. I like being alone. I know it's going to sound weird, but like last night when I was in Miami, where I'm by myself, I felt like Omega Man,
You okay?
Like the only thing I hear is raindrops in my footsteps, and
yeah,
it's because when you're by yourself too, like, and you're alone with your thoughts, and that's when you really, your brain really starts to activate. Well, I mean, it does when you're in conversation, we have a creative conversation, but like when you're by yourself, I don't know, I feel like it's good to clear your head too, and that's, I feel like also when you're by yourself too, you're not as limited. You can kind of go into riskier areas, or you don't have to worry about like, oh, if I get my friend in trouble, I don't want to do that. Yeah. Where if it's just yourself, it's you're just on you. So, and then if you stay until 3 a.m., you don't have your friend bugging you.
Exactly.
Like, I'm hungry.
I like to say it alone but never lonely.
Yeah.
And
it's not that I hate people. I love people. I love interacting with people. And I mean, even though I'm a pretty shy person, but I love conversation. I love, talking to people and learning, about them, and, and taking away something from them, like, learning wise. But I also like being, there's times where I like being alone and by myself, and it's like, it's not it's not an antisocial thing, I guess. Or it's not like a, social anxiety thing. Cause everyone has social anxiety, whether they admit to it or not,
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. It's just, I think with me, my personality, it's like I need that good balance of alone and with people,
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you 100% on that. I think that when you are put yourself in certain situations, whether it's with people or by yourself, I think it allows for.
And don't get me wrong, there's times where it's like, hey, I'm going to shoot this, come along with me, or, like photo walks and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're interacting and stuff, but it's like, it brings out a different photography, with me, it brings out a different, I become a different photographer, I guess, when I'm with people than when I'm by myself,
Yep, absolutely.
Not in a bad way, but just like in a different way where it's like, okay, well, now you're with people and you're doing this, that, and the other, you're doing more portraits, or it's, I don't know, it's different, but like, I like to balance the two.
When you, now you said you were in Miami,
Arizona.
Now, when you did you just go down there on a whim and see what you can find? Are you that type of person where you just go, fuck it, I'm going to go for a drive today and figure it out? Or how do these projects come to you?
It's 50-50. I mean, I was planning on going to Miami because, one, the downtown there's abandoned and run down, and so I like that. And it was a full moon, or close to a full moon, so I wanted to take advantage of that kind of lighting. And luckily, when I was down there, it rained, so you got all sorts of this reflections on the street of all the lights and all the buildings and stuff too. So I got really lucky there. But I don't know. Sometimes I do stuff on a whim. I do a lot of things on a whim, actually. Like I've driven to Tucson on a whim. I mean, just. Afternoon, I'm like, let me shoot this, and then, I don't know, just hop in my truck and go. That's why I got a Toyota truck, so I could it's just so reliable. I can just kind of go to these places.
Yeah, Toyota trucks, man, they'll last forever.
I know,
if you take care of them.
Exactly. So even if you don't take care of them, they're like a fucking brick, But I don't know. I do a lot of things on a whim. It's like my night photography, usually I just hop in my truck and I have a vague idea of what I want to shoot. But as far as what I actually do, it's just kind of things that come to me, or if I want a certain look, okay, well, I know this is here, so then I go there, or, it all depends on what mood I'm in, whether Mercury's in retrograde, or, my chakras are aligned, or
exactly,
if my yoga poses are right, namaste and all that bullshit. I gotta, it depends on what mood, what side the moon's on. But no, I don't know where I was going with that.
But is the overall sort of still desolate landscapes, urban landscape sort of thing, or if you feel something, you go, you know what, I'm going to go take shots of the open desert or a landfill? Is there some sort of theme that you still want to portray with wherever you go shoot?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of the shots, a lot of my favorite shots are stuff where it's just I'm driving past and I see that and go, holy shit, and then I just park my truck and get my camera out and shoot it. So yeah, I do a lot of aimless driving around town.
Okay. All right.
Just kind of keep my eyes peeled for, and then listening to some music, and or some podcast or what have you, and I don't know. Like it's weird with my like, I don't really go out looking for that look.
Okay.
With the like my night photography, I remember what I saw a long exposure. I forgot who shot it, but it was during the it was during a full moon, and it was like a 4 or 5 minute exposure, and it looked like it was during the day because of everything. And I I don't know. I remember I saw that and went, I didn't know they could do that. That's so cool, you know? And that's really, I forgot to pick, you know, who shot it, or what it was, but I just remember when I first discovered, you know, long exposures, I went, that seems really cool. And like, I've always loved, you know, just run down and really a lot of urban landscapes, or you know, kind of dilapidated things, and so I just went, you know, those look really cool at night. So I just kind of went from there. And I think, you know, if for those starting out photography too, I think one thing that will help is just to shoot the things that you like. You know, whatever you have an interest in, or whatever, you know, whatever tickles your fancy, I guess, like shooting that instead of, you know, shooting what you think people want you to shoot, and just shooting the things that you like, you know?
Yes, I'm so glad you said that, because that's one of the things that I've been trying to explain to people that, hey, Danny, what kind of camera should I get? What did you do this, that, and the other? And people that want to get started in photography, I tell them, you know what? I say, fuck photography. Photography isn't the end all be all of anything. What photography does is it allows you to show your passion, show your passion for something you are already passionate about. Whether it's music, whether it's, hey, you can
racing,
landscapes, all that stuff,
urban exploration,
exactly. You know? Women. You know, models, fashion, whatever it is that you want, that you have a passion for, that's what photography is used for. And hey, I talk shit about wedding photography because I have a lot of friends that shoot weddings. Yeah, like, they're better salesmen than they are photographers. And without trying to get too crazy,
some of them are. A lot, yeah, the few I know, like my friend Ethan Beasley, shout out to him. Like, he's really good, and you know, and he's really helped me out as well with my like learning new skill sets.
Yeah,
but yeah, for the most part, a lot of, and you see a lot of, and that's also one thing too with racing. Back to racing, a lot of the photographers they're very. A lot of it's kind of rudimentary, where it's not even an art form. It's more of like the camera as a tool, and I'm just, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
it's more like
framing,
snapshot.
You know, like the rule of thirds, and make sure this is perfectly in focus and this is perfectly there. And, you know, oh, my camera is this many megapixels, and like, they get a hard on over that stuff, you know, whereas with me, I'm like,
you shoot better pictures on your phone than somebody with a $5,000 setup.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's, you know, it's funny. Like, when I shoot my digital work, which is what I use to shoot like racing and things like that. You know, it's a 1D Mark II. It's like 15 years old, you know, and you know, but it's funny, when I bought it, my dad and my brother, who aren't photographers, like, well, how many megapixels is it?
Yeah, like that mattered.
And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah,
and like, dude, you should know, man. You're just like, if this is what you want to do, you got to know that stuff. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what, you know, it's big and it's heavy. So I know, you know,
works.
So it must work, you know, and that's how I looked at it.
Yeah. And and
I got a smoking deal on it too, which was the best part.
My buddy just got the Mark II as well. I'm like, hey man, if you can get him used, cause he's trying to buy, you know, better camera as well. And he's all, well, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, dude, first of all, you're coming up from a T2i or whatever. So anything in the full frame is going to, you know, without getting too dorky about it. But it gets to the point where the megapixels, the me-pizzles don't matter if you're never going to print a billboard.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't really matter especially if you're never going to print, period.
99% of all the photos that you're going to see you're going to see them through, you know, your phone.
In this day and age,
yeah. But not that I shoot thinking like that, but that's, you know, as far as megapixels, and then like with me too, it's with me, it's I again, I shoot for the subject. I don't shoot for the
right.
The, you know, I know people aren't going to go with the micro, with a loop and like try to look at each grain.
Exactly. That's for, and to finish the thought is like when you're passionate about something, your photography will show it. That's how good of a photographer you're going to be at. So there are people that are passionate about weddings. And I can tell, all right, this is a great photographer. And most of the time, it's a she. Not that I'm trying to, but it seems to me that the best wedding photographers are women. There's a couple of cool guys out there.
Yeah.
But the ones,
wedding
my favorites
is all for the bride. It's
well,
their
I
thing.
didn't want to go there, but maybe it is. It's like, I don't know why. But I see that there's a couple Polish photographers, and they're using film medium format, and they take engagement and wedding pictures. I'm like, oh my god, they're so killing it. And they're like, maybe I should shoot weddings to see if I can get those images. But I'm like, nah, never mind. But yeah, it's when you're passionate about something, your gear isn't going to matter. Your what medium format, large format, 35 millimeter, fucking point shoot versus, DSLR or SLR. When you're passionate about something, you take an image from it, bam, people are going to see, yeah, that cat loves racing. That cat loves fashion, loves weddings. And I think that's what people oversee and think that miss the point of being a photographer in certain cases. And other things too, I guess, too. Salsa dancing,
Yeah.
Whatever. Take your camera with you, and if you're into salsa dancing, and this is one of the things that I had a conversation with as well. If you're into salsa dancing and you go to salsa dancing every day, and then you take someone like me, like let's just say I know my way around a camera probably better than most folk out there who just period, whatever. But if you're a salsa dancer and and you're just maybe even a novice photographer, dollars to donuts, your photographs will be better than anything that I would be able to take, because you're on the inside, you're passionate, you know what to expect, and your creativity is going to flow because you love salsa dancing, you love race car driving. You go to the race car show, I go to a race car show, my pictures will never amount to anything that you take there, because you are very passionate about racing and you know what to take and you know the emotion to extract from a certain situation that I'm like, I'll just be there, okay, whatever. Nice tires, And that's where your true passion is going to come out in something like photography. It doesn't have to be, it could be art or, drawing or anything else, painting and stuff like that. But again, it's just a matter of being passionate about something.
Yep.
And that's what we're losing track of nowadays. So,
man of passion.
Hell yeah. That's how it works. Oh man, I can keep you here all day, man. I really love. I can go into racing way more. That I'm like intrigued and all that. But man,
hey, man, hour 42. That's not
Thank
bad.
you so much for coming in. Oh yeah,
no problem, man. Hey, you know what? It's funny. Coming in, I didn't know what to expect, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna run out of steam so fast. I didn't know what to talk about, But
oh no.
But yeah, I don't. It's funny. It's and that's the thing I love about photography. It's just it leads you to a whole new world out there, And I mean, there's it's so dynamic, and there's so many aspects to it that yeah, it's just like it's not just pressing a button in a black box, It's like there's so much to it, And I think it leads you to appreciate the world around you more often, more than what you had before you got into it.
Oh yeah, it's a magic box for sure.
Yep.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
This was awesome.
Thank you.
And this is probably just part one. I definitely want to talk to you after your show and see how that went, and your reaction.
I'll be down to do this more often.
All right.
I'm not sure how the listeners are. If they want, they're probably already sick of me. But
oh no,
hey man, I'm the more I can just kind of bullshit about the things I like, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's the key to life.
That's what it's about.
Yep. So, well, thank you, and looking forward to listening to us again and cringing.
All right. No worries. All right, man. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Please follow Ryan Casillas and his work on Instagram. I will leave the links in the show notes. And if you have any questions or concerns, please drop us a line or drop me a line at thecommonrule@gmail.com. The Instagram is The Common Rule, and the Twitter is Restless Samurai. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day and enjoy your youth.